Every police officer has stories. Some are funny, some are confronting, some you'll never read in a headline. Roger Mayer's had a long career in the Northern Territory and New South Wales Police Force, and he's got a few stories to tell. Tall tales and true, real Australian police stories. And yes, sometimes there are quiet shifts. They just don't make the podcasts. Or maybe some will.
Police, I'll send the dog.
BKG, any dog on channel?
Dog 11 on channel, go.
Dog 11, a 10:15 Bear Street, Smithville, re-break and enter in progress.
Dog 11, copy, 5 minutes. Dog 11, off at the scene now. Person's decamping, releasing the dog.
This podcast contains discussions about real policing experiences, crime, prison, violence, and adult themes. Some episodes include coarse language and may not be suitable for listeners under 18. Stories shared on this podcast come from policing experiences in both the Northern Territory and New South Wales, including time spent working in the dog squad. Some stories involve Indigenous Australians due to the nature of policing work in the Northern Territory. These stories are shared from personal experience and are not intended to stereotype or disrespect any individual or community. Some names and identifying details have been changed to protect privacy. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to episode 6 of Tall Tales and True, based off the book of the same name written by Roger Mayer. I'm here right now with the man himself, and we've got a very interesting episode for you. Hi Roger, how are you?
Hey Deb, I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you. This week we're going to talk about the Gulka Man, which is really interesting stuff, I think. First of all, though, at the beginning of the chapter in your book, you're talking about how there was a police shortage at the time, and you were put on a shift with Nigel, who was one of your classmates. So two newbies on a shift together, and you said, that's another story. Well, let's tell the story now before we get into the Gulka Man. What happened with Nigel?
Excuse me. Yes, Nigel, he was a good bloke. He was a Territorian, actually, worked and born in Darwin. Passed away now, sadly. Very funny fellow. A couple of years older than me. I was 22 at the time. He was about 27. But we were at Darwin Station, and there was a shortage of senior men. And even the guys from the class before us that had passed out, we were squad 29 of 78. They were squad 28. A month or so before us were termed as senior men, like senior people, because they had a couple of months on the road. Right. And that's the way it was back then. There was a shortage of police all the time, and they were trying to keep up and get the numbers up and keep them going.
I guess that's why they were recruiting.
Yeah, the way they were recruiting.
Across Australia.
Yeah, across Australia. And they had, squads going every couple of months with 50 at a time, 50-odd, 51, 52, 53 people per squad, trying to get them through. And it's 16 weeks training. It's fairly...
So not everyone gets through the training, and
not everyone.
Guessing...
If you start off with 50, you get one or two drop out from either failing the exams or failing the physical, which was quite intensive. It was good. I liked it.
And then some people would start the job and then say, "This isn't for me."
Oh yes, it was exciting to start with, but to some people, or family commitments would often, because you're still fairly remote up there. Had to fly. It's a long way. Darwin's a long way from anywhere.
Yeah.
But we were on a day shift, and we went to the station at Darwin Station. That was in Mitchell Street at the time. Now the main station's out at Palmerston. And the sergeant there, against his better judgment probably, we had two new fellas, like it's our first day, first or second day. Brand new. It might have been just even the first week. I'm not even sure. Mm-hmm. And he goes, rightio, there's been some people, and these belonged to a bikie organisation that was up there, and they had their clubhouse out of Darwin, And somebody there had rented a car from, Avis Rent a Car or something, and they had kept the car for a couple of days more than when it was supposed to be returned. They were driving it around, and so the car was reported as stolen.
Right.
Even though the car was dumped somewhere, I think it might have even been recovered, they still treat it as a stolen vehicle because there was monies outstanding, even though it was possibly down here we would say that was a civil matter. You deal with them yourself. But up there it was like a stealing matter. They reported the car stolen because it was overdue. So he said to us, now this was where their address was, and it was quite famous. Secret Road was the name of the road. I think you probably Google it. Secret Road, Darwin. And their clubhouse was out there. And Nigel and I went out there, took a vehicle, and we go out there, and with no idea really of what we're doing. We're brand new, but I had some idea of what I was doing. So we knock on the door, and they half open the door, and there's about half a dozen sticking their heads out the door, these fellas, and being quite smart. The police still had a fair bit of respect from people in those days, but still they could tell we looked brand new. I suppose the uniforms were brand new, and they were still neat and tidy, and they were all ironed and everything. And I said, we want to speak to you about an overdue, motor vehicle. And they pushed the fella forward who I had the name of the fella. Who's the bloke who's rented the vehicle? He goes, oh, that was me. I've returned the vehicle. I said, well, that doesn't count. You're going to be, if you don't give us the information and give us what we want, I said, I'm going to arrest you on suspicion of stealing a motor vehicle. And we had the power up there to arrest for suspicion. Here in New South Wales and the rest of Australia at the time, it was a reasonable suspicion that, which was a little bit higher. This was, you could arrest someone on suspicion, take them back, speak to them, interview them, and then just release them, right, without charge. So I said, I'm going to arrest you for under suspicion of stealing a vehicle. And Nigel pipes up, I don't think you can do that. I looked at him. He goes, you can't do that. And then this fella's jumped on board and said, you can't do that. And I'm going, oh, rightio. I said, well, mate, you're coming back with this. And he did a quick head count. And he goes, there's 2 of you and there's 6 of us. He goes, I'm not coming. I said, mate, how many have you got in your gang? He said, oh, about 50. I said, well, I got 500 in my gang. He still looked. I said, and throughout Australia, I've got probably about 20,000 police in my gang, and they're all going to be looking for you. Anyway, we had to do so they decided not to take us on in that physically, but they weren't going to come with us. And we got back in the car and drove back to Darwin with our tails between our legs, and we went back to the station, walked inside, and the sergeant there, he said, well, where's the P? We used to call the P. A P was the person involved. If you had a P, have you got a P involved? The P was the prisoner or the person of interest. We just called them the P. Where's the P? And Nigel quite proudly goes, oh, Rocky wanted to arrest him for suspicion, but I told him he couldn't do that. And the sergeant looked at him and goes, yeah, of course you can.
Oh, no.
You've got the power to bring him back here. And Nigel goes, oh, I didn't think of that. I didn't realise. And he just turned around and said, recruits. Oh, save me from recruits. And we just went about and skulked off somewhere in disgust. Oh. And luckily we did get better after that.
So did anything come of that, do you
No, they probably gave the job to somebody else, or
right.
somebody, they wrote it off or whatever.
Yeah.
But we certainly didn't do any good out of it. That was my first foray into, because it's a really big deal confronting people to arrest them, taking their liberty. It's not as easy as you think. Especially most people don't come readily. Most people up there fight. As soon as you tell them they're under arrest, they fight.
Right. Yeah, I don't think anyone really.
No, they don't just go. Arrested. In Australia, America's a bit different. It's done at gunpoint. We didn't have guns on. We had handcuffs on. That was about it. You might wear a firearm at night, but no one wore a firearm during the day.
Oh, so you didn't have firearms?
Didn't have firearms. We had them. We just didn't wear them.
Okay.
it was more of a hassle wearing it. Pulled your pants down. We had 38. I had a 357 Magnum revolver that we'd bought, but it was more for show than go.
Yeah, okay.
We had every police station in Darwin. You could have your own weapon, or you just go to the safe and you got out a stainless steel 38 revolver, Smith & Wesson stainless steel. We had Remington 870 shotguns there and 308 rifles in the safe, but
unless you really needed it.
Yeah, over night time.
Okay.
On the settlements, you never wore a firearm because the people would try and take it from you. They'd overpower you, so there was no point. You could wear a firearm under your shirt in a shoulder holster, but that was too uncomfortable. Looked silly. So most people didn't. Most cops didn't bother wearing it. Some did, some of the more gung-ho ones. I never bothered much wearing one. Just something I never even thought about.
Okay.
I might carry it with me if I had a job.
Like the crocodile.
Like the crocodile job, I might put it in the shoulder. I had a shoulder holster because I thought I was pretty cool.
All right, so police shortage is still fresh out of college and you get rostered on a shift by yourself.
I'm rostered on by myself in Darwin. Got this rostered and I'm Darwin 604 or something. I mean, they've got the city patrol. I think it used to be, they'd give you a call sign. It was VKG, Darwin 601, 602.
So you're in a car?
In a car, a four-wheel drive. I had a car, I think at this stage. I might have had a sedan. I can't exactly remember. I think it was a sedan or a truck. You'd have a four-wheel drive truck. There was all different. There was like a rodeo type truck, like a bread van truck. We had those as well. Panel van, we had the old panel van, and they were really awkward to get people in. That was in Darwin. We had a panel van, a couple of panel vans with the doors open at the back and caged bars on it, and nothing in, just a flat. You sit them in there.
Wow.
In the panel van, and two people, because sedan you could put 2 or 3 officers in. A truck, four-wheel drive, you had 2 of you. I think I had a sedan on this job.
Yeah, so you got sent to the Stewart Highway.
I got sent out the Stewart Highway. I didn't know my way around still very much. Got the map there. There's only one way out of town, and a report that a male Aboriginal, was sitting in the middle of the road stopping traffic, and was causing a traffic hazard. So I went out there and I see this fellow, and he must have huge Indigenous fellow, Aboriginal bloke, and hello, the cats come to say hello. And I'm an animal person, cats like me and dogs like me. And he must have weighed about 150 kilos or more, with a pair of shorts and a t-shirt on as the standard, and he's stopping cars. As cars are slowing down, he's yelling out, "Take me to Port Keats." And Port Keats is over on the western side, on the West Australian, on the coast there. It's now called Wadeye. It's a very busy place now. The settlement there, Aboriginal settlement.
Like, is that a fair way away? Or?
Yeah, it's a 100 so kilometres away, maybe more.
Okay, not too.
Couple of hours away from Darwin anyway. It's on the west coast. And it's called Port Keats. Well, that's why it's on the coast, or it's now called Wadeye. And so I went, oh, well, what am I going to do? I'm going to arrest him for obstruction. I think traffic obstruction, obstructing traffic. Couldn't tell that he was intoxicated. So I had to get it, and no, didn't resist or anything. I just told him he was under arrest, picked him up off the road, and put him in the back of the sedan, fed him into the sedan, got him in there, squeezed him in, took him back to Darwin Station. You drive in the prisoner van there, there's a ramp into the van area, close the roller door, get your prisoner out, you take him to the cells, down to the cells. So I took him down, got his details. I don't know, I got a name from him, I think, that's about all. And mostly they had NFPA, no fixed place of abode. They're living out at Bagot Road Reserve or whatever. And I lodged him in the cells, and I took him in the cells, and there was a number of as there always is, a number of Indigenous people in the cells. And they saw this fella, and he just went and sat on one side, and they all got up as one and all moved to the other side of the cell. And they looked like they'd seen a ghost.
Oh.
And then they'd taken blankets over to him and all the food that they had, and they'd pop drinks and given him everything. He didn't say a word, never uttered a word. And then...
So it must have been somebody pretty important then.
Well, I'm going, what's going on here? And it wasn't just because his size, he just had this presence about him. Still hadn't uttered a word, hadn't said anything. 2 detectives came down and told me that he was a G'daytja man, and I'd heard of what a G'daytja man was, and that he was responsible for maybe the deaths of 6 people, 6 or 7 people, but they couldn't prove it. So that was my first run-in, and these Aboriginal people in there knew that he was a G'daytja man, and that's why they were frightened of him.
Right.
And, so you want me to explain what my understanding of the G'daytja man is?
Yes, please do.
So G'daytja is from the centre around Alice Springs mainly. There's different words used, which I'll explain later, but the G'daytja man is like the tribal policeman. He's the one who the elders, if someone's misbehaving or needs some punishment, he's the one to enforce it. And there's some stories that go along with them that the G'daytja man will come at night and steal your kidney fat through, because there's some of the medicine men and some of the G'daytja men do bloodless surgery.
Oh, wow.
And they will perform these like operations through your skin, and a lot of it's a little bit of trickery, and they will take what looks like tumours out or stones out of your body that are causing problems, and you'll see this blood like in the skin that would be like blood there, and then there's no wound. Bloodless surgery they call it, and there's been a lot of studies done on different societies and different things. Anyway, so the G'daytja man, and what he would do, he would dislocate the toe of his little foot, the little toe of his foot, not the toe, the little toe of each foot, and so that they couldn't tell his footprint. And he would wear G'daytja shoes, which are made out of emu feathers and blood. And he makes the shoes and he wears those when he's going to do a job, because in the centre, especially in the centre, not so much up the north, but the centre people are very good at reading tracks. They can tell you the name of the person who made a various track, their footprint. And we've used them. We use them quite often with the trackers and whatnot, and they will tell you the age of the person. If they don't know the name, the age, the sex, and which way they went, how they were walking, what they were feeling, what they were doing, all these sorts of things. And so the G'daytja man would wear those shoes that people couldn't tell whose track it was, because he was supposed to be a secret. And the other reason they can read one another's tracks so well is that there is a lot of people, if you're not initiated, a woman or man or boy, there's a lot of people you're not allowed to look at or speak to in the tribe, because there's hierarchy. So you're walking through the bush or the sand, the desert, and you see that person's track, and you know it's a fresh track because you know how to track, and you see it's the person you're not supposed to be coming into contact, so you veer off. You recognise their track. I had a tracker who could, tell different tracks. He was really good. This Mowgli up north, very good tracker. Track across Bitumen Road, really good tracker. Some of them couldn't track an elephant through the snow, but they're still trackers. But some were really good. So the G'daytja man, and they would also be responsible for carrying out punishments, up until including, might be death. Sometimes might be accidentally kill them. And these G'daytja men were, could be quite, probably psychopaths or something. They had that tendency to be violent, and that was understood by the elders, and they would know who it was. So there's all those different things that go into that sort of culture.
Do you know, Roger, were they like chosen or selected by the elders?
Yes, usually they would be selected. Yeah,
Based
but
on their
usually
personality?
how much knowledge they had, how far initiation they'd been in, their proclivities for doing that sort of thing. No good if you were a very nice guy,
sure,
or you weren't very strong, for instance. You had to have that proclivity, and they could recognise that, and they would select. Same as the medicine man or the witch doctor's the wrong word. The word probably used is like a medicine man, the tribal elder who knew how to cure things and knew the different herbs and different plants to use. That's all knowledge, and that passed. They would get an apprentice and pass that on as well. Usually it might stay within the family. So the Kadachi man might be the same, but it was probably an open secret for all that they would know who the Kadachi man was, but it was still, quite secretive.
Mm-hmm.
So
they were the medicine man and the Kadachi man were
different.
The same or different?
Different people. One was for healing, one was for punishing.
Okay. But you were talking about the surgery, the bloodless surgery.
Yeah, the bloodless surgery. That was really amazing. And
that was the
Kadachi
in the
centre.
Man.
Kadachi man
Not
the medicine man would do that. The Kadachi man would come. They'd come at night when you're asleep and steal your kidney fat, and that was the same thing by putting their fingers in. It was like the same sort of thing.
Uh-huh.
I'd never seen, but they would believe it got done. And you've heard of pointing the bone. Well,
yes.
Pointing this, the story goes into that. So the pointing is it's widespread, and it's very, very, very much believed.
Mm-hmm.
Very dangerous thing to, we as whites sort of hoo-ha and poo-poo it a bit as a general rule, but I don't. And a lot of them say, it's psychosomatic. They know. No, you don't. You're not told you've been pointed. That's the whole point of it.
Okay.
But usually what goes on with it also is singing, which I'll get into. So what we call singing. So they chant and sing along with the pointing, and it's usually done in line of sight of the person without them knowing, at a distance. And it might be done depending on if they want to make the person sick or they want to actually kill them. You can just make them sick, make them unwell by pointing them, singing. And I take it quite seriously. It might sound silly, but it's just because I've seen different things happen and there's no explanation for it.
Yeah, you did say that in the book, that a lot of people don't believe it, but you've got an open mind because you've seen a lot of things.
Yes, I see it and I go,
can't be explained.
And then people say, yeah, so it's a phenomenon, and I think there's some things being written about it, but I was just told about it by different people. There's something I just off the cuff that I just thought of then. Mm-hmm. I asked a young girl that I knew quite well. I'd had some interaction with. I'd helped her out and done some things and to help her, and she was, try and get her out of town off the grog and whatnot. And one night I asked, because not everyone there is allowed to get married, right? Very strict culturally who you can marry, and it has to be with the right skin name, the right skin person, and the elders will decide. This is how they keep the clans pure. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't get to, you don't get to choose your wife. You might if you're senior enough in the clan, and it all matches up. And I said to her, how is it, trying to understand the culture a bit, how come, the girls don't, because there's not a lot of everyone's not just pregnant. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. All this, it's quite unusual. And she tried to explain to me, because she's a full blood, that when she's about 12 or 13, her mother gets this sacred stone, from what I understood from the broken way she was telling me, I could understand. Mm-hmm. She called it a magic stone. And they heat the stone, and what I believe they that she did, they place it in the cervix. And what I think from what I understood, and it stops them getting pregnant.
Okay. Like birth control.
But it may damage the cervix that they can't have children. Or it might heal, and so it's a bit of a hit and miss.
Okay.
Because you think about it, if you've got a small clan and, everyone's getting pregnant and you're going to be overrun with children, babies, and there's a bad season, not everyone's going to live. Everyone's got to hunt and gather. This is in the old days. Otherwise, you wouldn't survive. So small clans. So there is something to it, because you will see, and I don't know what other practice they use, because I didn't get into that. It's pretty hard to explain. But you have a look at a lot of the clans. There's not just hundreds of kids running around. Mm-hmm. And that's what and my understanding, and I was only a young fella, that perhaps that's how the birth control worked, because that's how the IUD was invented by camel traders. You know that?
No.
Right? In Arabia. So when the camel traders were crossing the desert, they can't afford for the camels to get pregnant.
Oh. So
they would get a date seed and insert it in the uterus of the female camel.
Oh.
And she wouldn't get pregnant. And that was, hundreds of years ago, they realised that. And that's where the idea for the IUD, I think it was called, the intrauterine device was called, from that.
Okay.
So these older civilisations had different ways and means. Won't even get into soaking your testicles in hot water. That helps too. But anyway, we got off the track a bit. Let's get back to the Gadachi man. See, in the centre, we call him a Gadachi man. Up in the north where I was, I became to know it was the Gulka man, which was different. Same thing, but different name.
So your next encounter with this
phenomenon,
not the Gulka man himself, but with the phenomenon, was at a post-mortem.
A post-mortem, for a fellow.
Tell us about that.
Was a young fellow, big, strong fella, full blood, named Andrew. I won't use his skin name because he's passed away, but we'll call him Andrew. And he was a very big, strong, fit fella. And I'd had a couple of interactions with him in town. He'd been on the alcohol, the grog, and I'd arrested him, and we'd had some incidents, and it was deemed that he go and live at an outstation, which is outside of the town, alcohol-free. Him and his wife were at this outstation outside of in Arnhem Land, and apparently she had been down to the waterhole. She came back and she saw him vomit blood and drop down dead.
Oh. So
the air ambulance goes out, picks him up, brings him back because there's going to be a post-mortem. They said he's about 30 years of age, big, strong fella. And they brought a pathologist up, because we didn't have our own, to do it, named Dr. Anthony Jones from Adelaide, South Australia. Flew him up, and we've got Andrew on the slab in the hospital, and it's got him stripped down. And I said to him, Doc, this might sound a bit strange. He goes, but I was told a day or so before the post-mortem that he'd been pointed by these fellows. I won't mention their name. I was told their names as a result of an incident that occurred at the Fanny Bay Jail when he was over in the jail in Darwin. There'd been an altercation and a fight, and these guys had pointed him. And as a result, he's dead. And Dr. Jones told me, he said, that's a load of nonsense. I said, all right, I'll be guided by you. So we went over him with a fine-tooth comb, searched him head to toe for bites, stings, anything like that. We took samples of all his... I had to assist. I'm assisting. We're taking all samples of all his organs, blood, and sent it away to Adelaide for examination. About a month or so later, I saw a good doctor again, something else. I said, what killed Andrew? He goes, I don't know. As far as I know, he should be alive.
Oh.
So I think he was of two minds too.
Oh.
Whether or not later on something else might have been found, but there was nothing that you could pinpoint that should have caused that. So you don't know.
You don't know, do you?
You don't know. Yes, very interesting.
I wonder if doctors are a believer now.
Probably not. He's a man of science.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's freaky, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, tell us about your encounter at the Walkabout Hotel.
All right. So I was patrolling one night and I saw this strong. I'll just point out that the different bills of the centre Aboriginals to the northern coastal, because up in the north, like in the centre, it's tough life. You're living in the desert, you're scrounging for food, you're eating lizards and yams and whatever you can find, witchetty grubs and anything you can get your hands on. Up in the north and on the coast, you got fruits, you've got fish, turtle, crocodile, shark. It's a smorgasbord of food. Okay. You got to get it, but it's still. And the guys and turtle eggs, and when they eat a lot of turtle eggs, and there's a lot of good protein in it, and all these fellas have got magnificent big chests and shoulders, and you look at them, they've never been inside a gym in their life, and you go, look at how fit these guys are. Got abs on them because they're walking around, and yes, they're drinking, but they're still hunting and doing those sorts of things. And the white fella foods are what knocks them around. The white bread, the sugar, tobacco, alcohol knocks them around. But when they're on a traditional diet, they're as fit as mallee bulls and twice as strong.
It's not really good for any of us.
Not good for anybody. So I'm driving past the Walkabout Hotel, and yes, it's called the Walkabout Hotel. You can look it up. Before Crocodile Dundee, there was the Walkabout Hotel in Gove. And I saw this fella flogging another bloke with a tree branch. He'd ripped off a tree. So I pulled up and he stopped and he's put the tree branch behind his back, and I can still see it. And the fella that he's flogging, is just standing there, and I go, come over here. I said, show me your hand. He holds out one hand with nothing in it. And I go, show me the other hand. He puts his hand behind, holds the stick. I said, show me both hands, and he pulls out this, it's like you do with a kid. And
like you did at the eye test.
I did at the eye test, covering my eyes. I'd cover my eye right or left. So I looked at him, and he looked scary to start with. He was about a bit taller than me. He was I'm 5'10", he was about 5'10", my height, 5'10", 6 foot. And he had the finger on his right hand, the first finger, your pointer, had looked like he'd been bitten off in a fight. And his scars, his eye was turned in, so you could see the white of his eye. It was just like the eye was turned sideways. He had these scars all over his face, and he just had a pair of shorts, and he had lots of tribal scars, which showed that he was very, very much initiated. He'd been through a lot of initiation. Some of them have one or two or different things and different markings that they have. And what they do is when they cut them, so they get the scarred. So when they're in the ceremony, they scar them with a knife and they cut, and then they'll put ash in it from the fire, and then it heals up, and that's why you get that lump. So it gets like lump on it, and the different marks and where they are tell other people how much initiation, how much knowledge they've got.
Does it put any colour from the ash, or it's just
no,
more
it's
of a...
No, it's just black. It heals over.
Okay.
The skin grows over it.
But
it's like a lump, and it's because they cut it so many times, it gets really lump and rough, and it's like a big scar. You can't miss it.
Is it black from the ash inside, or not really?
No, I don't know. Well, it's closed.
It's just a lump.
It's just a lump. There's just different lumps and different scars. Depends how they've been marked and scarred. They call them tribal scars. And he wasn't worried about me in the slightest. Not in the slightest. He couldn't care less about me. Just treat me with contempt. And I
So he
was
was
a
pretty
bit younger than me.
intimidating.
He was intimidating, and I was. It was my job to be fairly tough guy, and I took that fairly seriously, policing. And he wasn't drunk. He hadn't been drinking. I wasn't going to, and there was no offence. The victims. There's no victim as such. He's not going to say, I want him charged or anything, because I could see he just wanted to escape. So he went, and I told him to get going, and he wandered off. And then the next thing I know, he was actually married. He had a wife, which is quite unusual. Not a lot of the guys in town had wives. There was. It was, as I said, there was a lot of single women, a lot of single guys, and there was no fraternisation, if I can say that, with a lot of them. They would drink together, but there was no hanky-panky. There was nothing. They just drank together. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was funny setup. And his wife came to see me, and I'll call him, I'll give him a name. His name was Luma Luma. Right, Luma Luma. He didn't have a European name that I ever knew. It was just, most of them had a European name and a skin name and their clan name. So they could be a Gurawiwi, they could be a Unipingu, they could be a Munungur, Munungarich. There's about 6. I think most of those. I've forgotten a couple. So they would have that, their European name, and it might be, Johnny, so-and-so, Gurawiwi, Bruce Bukalapchi Gurawiwi, whatever it might be. And they would know everybody's 3 names. I would probably only know their white and their European name, but they all knew everybody's 3 names. So she came to see me and said he'd assaulted her and he'd whipped her around the face with a dog chain, actually. She had scars on her face, and warned me that he was a dangerous man, And
You said she was, in the book, she was quite a bit younger than him as well.
Yes, she was quite a bit younger.
And she probably didn't have any choice.
No, she didn't have any choice.
In marriage.
Because he would have been, it's hard to tell how old he was. He's older than me. He's probably in his 30s. Maybe it's hard to tell. And a lot of them don't know, haven't got a date of birth. They roughly know how old they are. And she was a lot younger and not happy with being in the relationship because he was quite vicious, I think. And she was looking for me to give her some help, I think, with that. And, was trying the best we could. So I'd gone looking. He went missing. And this is why I think they have like ESP, because every time I went to try and find him, I could never find him. So she came and saw me one day and she said, "You're looking for Luma Luma?" I said, "Yes." She goes, "Every time you go out to the mission, Yurikala, he's hiding under the bed at Larry Gunenbar's house. And there's no phone out there. There was no mobile phones. There's a telephone box, but people in the house didn't have a phone, just at the mission. So he knew I was coming before I got there. So I had my police liaison officer, Bruce Bukalapchi. I said, "Get in the car, let's go." So I throw him in the car in the four-wheel drive, and I fly. It's about 20 kilometres out to the mission. So I fly out there, and I race straight to Larry Gunenbar's house, and I'm banging on the door, and Larry lets me in. He knew, and he didn't want to get Luma Luma offside, and he didn't want me to get offside. He's in a rock and a hard place. He's not going to say no to Luma Luma. So anyway, Larry, he was a good bloke. He was such a good man. He wanted to pass on the skills to all the young people about the old hunting ways, and he got this big tree, and they spent all this time carving out a canoe, and he did most of the work, and he's trying to get the young fellas involved, but they weren't interested in doing that, to show them how you
the traditional
with an adze or an axe and hollow out a log and make a canoe out of it and then float. He actually ended up getting it done. So anyway, I go inside and I race in the room. It's still warm virtually out under the bed where he's been. He's been hiding under there. He knew I was coming.
Yeah.
And he's gone out the back door and headed off. And Larry started tracking him for me. Oh. And he's gone this way. And I got Bruce Bukalapchi with me driving the Toyota. We drove in the Toyota, I'm driving. Bruce is next to me. And we're following Larry, who's on foot, tracking him. And he's tracked him down to this big swamp at the back of the mission there. I'd never been down there before. And Larry goes, he pointed with his lips and he goes, he's gone in there. He points into the swamp. And Bruce has climbed up on the roof of the Toyota and I've gone straight into the swamp. And there's all spear grass in there and it's you can't see. It's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I guess. And I walk in, I'm in full uniform. I've got my handcuffs on, I haven't got a gun, I've got full uniform. I think I took my shoes off, so I've got socks on and a police uniform. And I go in and I'm up to about chest height in this water and I sink down in this hole about 7 foot. Boom, go down, touch the bottom, come up. There's a big hole. And I'm in there swimming, half swimming around, and Bruce is on the top of the Toyota yelling out, "Be careful, Sergeant, be careful. Yindi Baru in there, Yindi Baru," which means a big crocodile. Yindi means big and Baru means crocodile. I'm turning around and I said, "Shut up, will you? Just shut. It's bad enough I'm in here without you yelling out, telling me to look out for the crocodile." and Larry's gone. Larry's taken off. And I'm in there for about an hour. And I'm searching through this spear grass that's in there, swamp grass. And I get out soaking wet and I haven't found him. I get back in the Toyota soaking wet and Bruce is in there and I drive home, go back to the police station. I have to drive in. I go home. I get stripped off outside, uniform in the wash. My wife goes, where have you been? I was in this swamp. Looking for this bloke. Long story. Looking for this bloke in the swamp. Oh, she's just shaking her head. And my notebooks, all the pages, I'm trying to dry my notebook, it's all sticking together and all the ink's running and I need it for court. I'm trying to dry my notebook out. And nothing heard for a while. And then she comes back to the police station. His wife comes back. So I don't know. Because no one says when you're on duty, like I was on day shifts, I was on afternoon, then I was on night shift, and this was a day shift. I'm there doing day shift again. She comes to the, they won't come in. They won't come in just sort of at the window there and she's tapping on the window and I go out and she goes, "That Luma Luma, he's singing you." Oh. I went, "Oh, is he? He's in the bush and he's singing you." And I knew exactly, right, he's doing it. He's been doing it for a while. He's been singing me. So singing to put a spell on me, which I took seriously. Mm-hmm. I can't have that. So I said, "Where is he?" And she goes, "He's been in the bush singing you. He's heading back to the mission now, and he's with another guy, quite a famous guy. I won't mention this guy is famous, has got an OBE. He's an Aboriginal and a really good painter. He got the OBE from the Australian government, which is the Order of the British Empire. Even showed me the medal. I locked him up one day and he's telling me, "I'm so-and-so OBE." And I said, yeah, I know you are. And when I let him out the next day, all the clan have brought the medal when he's been released from lockup and put the medal around him. It's beautiful. It's got the blue. I don't know if you've ever seen one. It's a gold medal with all these like decoration, like striations on it. It's the OBE, the Order of the British Empire, that you got from the Queen.
Wow.
And they put that round his neck and, take him off. And anyway, so I race out and I know this guy, the OBE, drives slow. He's a slow driver. He's got the long wheelbase Toyota and he's driving it. It's on a dirt road and I've got a bit of time to catch up. So I race out in the Toyota. I'm going around sideways on the dirt road to the mission, and just before they get to the mission, I pull in front and screech to a halt, and the passenger door opens, and Luma Luma's in there, and I look, and he's got a machete, and an axe.
Oh.
And he's looking at the axe, he's looking at me. I said, don't even think about it. I went, drop. And he goes to pick up the axe, not the machete. And he's picked up, and I said, drop it. And I'm not armed, I haven't got a gun or anything, so he drops it. I arrest him and I take him back to the police station. And he says to me, he just gives me this grin, and he goes, when you're looking for me, and he's making these, like, he's making these like hand gestures. When I was looking for him in the swamp, he goes, you've been looking for me? And he said, I've been ducked down under the water, and he's breathing through a reed while I'm going past him. So he's got a reed like they would in the movie. Like, this is what he's telling me he's doing. He's going, I've been ducked down. You've been gone looking, and I've been there breathing, and then you've been go. And he was under the water while I went past him. So I charged him, and I charged him, and I kept him in custody, and then I released him, and didn't hear anything for ages. They only have court once a month there. Didn't hear anything, didn't see him in town, had nothing to do with him. And all of a sudden I get a message from a fella comes to the station. Aboriginal fella said they want to see you in the garden bar at the Walkabout Hotel. I said, what you have to come. You have to come now. Rocky, you come. Rocky Wawa, they call me Rocky, brother. Rocky Wawa, come. And I go,
so you were working?
No way. I was working. No way. I'm going, no way. What? No way. You come now. So I go, rightio. I didn't know what was going on. So I go across to the garden bar, which is in the back there, which the Aboriginals used. I think I spoke about that before. And there is Luma in the middle of the garden bar, and there's all these men sitting around, and there's an old fellow sitting on this blanket, and he's skinny, old, probably 70 or something, maybe old, he can't tell. Might have only been 60, but looked old. Very skinny, with a beard, and his legs are withered, thin like sticks, because some of them, they get a disease. I think I spoke about this before. Sometimes they'll get a worm in their foot, or it's a disease that they get, and the legs wither away. And he had no weight, and he was a famous painter. He did. So what they had was a big bark painting there for me to present to me. And Luma didn't do any talking. He was just there. And they're saying to me, this is your Baipa. And I went and learnt Aboriginal dialect as best I could. Very, very rudimentary stuff, How are you? What are you doing? Where are you going? That sort of thing. Water, tobacco, stuff like that. Just general words. But they're still broken English like Creole. So they go, this is your Baipa, your father. No women there involved. And this is your uncle. This is your other uncle. This is your uncle. This is your brother, which is Luma. Now, all his brothers you call uncle. All the Baipa, the father, when he's not there, all his brothers you call father as well. You don't call them uncle, they're still father. You call them Baipa. Your mother is I've forgotten the word for mother. So Walu is baby, I've forgotten the word. Anyway, for mother, if all her sisters become mother when she's not there. They're auntie otherwise, but when she's not there, you call her mother.
Right. You
treat them exactly the same. That's how the kinship works. So Luma, psychology, that made him my older brother. And I'm not allowed to do anything against my older brother. Because he's my older brother. He has say, because when his father's not there, he becomes like father, right? So he's in charge as well. He has the power. So he couldn't beat me one way, so he thought he'd get me psychologically. And look, people say, so he made me part of that clan, but that, I would be lying to say if that was true, because it was just a ploy.
Yeah.
Because it's like me saying I'm part of your family just because I come here and I visit and whatnot. And they go, oh, so what did we do for Christmas 10 years ago? Remember your 6th birthday? Well, being part of a family is the history. You were there for this, you were there for that birthday, you were there for the Christmas or this holiday when you went on.
That's true.
That's what family is. You can be considered part of the family, but you're not. Like, there's no point you calling yourself that name, saying, oh, I'm, so-and-so. You may live with them and be accepted and whatnot. So the people who say, and I see some whites that say, oh, I've been accepted as part of the clan or the community. Yes, you may have, but that is an honorary thing. Unless there is some, like, that have anthropologists have lived with them for 30, 40 years. Yep, I got no dramas at all. But knowing them for 5 minutes or a couple of years like I did, you can't then say, I'm part of the, this group or this clan, I'm part of the Munungur clan or whatever it is. No, you're not.
Not really.
Not really. It would be improper for me to say that. But having said that...
It's kind of like when they give you, or they give certain people like a degree at a university.
Yes, you go, oh yes, it's an honorary degree.
You didn't really do a degree.
No, but we'll give you this.
Yeah.
So that's a good way of saying it. So I could be like an honorary member, and that would be it. But I wouldn't never say I'm part or claim part of the community or part of that family group, because I'm not.
Makes sense.
I'd be honorary. But I didn't think too much. I was very pleased to get the painting, and the painting is done on a big piece of bark, and there's a photo of it in the book, and it's of Mana the shark. And Mana is the totem of that group, of the Munungur group, right? Clan. And
So
each clan have their own totem. So it might be the shark, might be turtle, might be dingo, might be stingray, might be... So that each clan will identify, and they don't eat that. Usually that... They don't eat that.
Okay.
Because it's their totem.
So theirs was the shark.
Theirs is the shark, Mana the shark.
And the old man was the father?
He was the... Well, he was...
No.
They told me he was my father, Bapa. And he's quite a famous painter.
Okay.
And whether he was brought along, why he painted this painting. And it wasn't until years later I kept the painting in a cupboard for many years. It was kept in a cupboard. And,
how big was it?
It's it's 2 foot long by a foot wide, and it was done traditionally, and it had split timber bound with string on either side, like as the frame.
And it was on bark.
It's on bark, so a piece of bark that's taken off the tree and straightened out, and it continues to curl the whole of its life. And it's done in the traditional way with and it's done with chewed bark, a chewed stick, and it's white and ochre. And the beautiful painting of the shark in it, but it's not like the modern painting of the centre with the dots. This is done with crosses, like lines, one way and then the other, and it's got a spear in it, a fishing spear going down, and the shark in the middle, with the lungs, showing the lungs. So it's like an X-ray picture, and it's got the lungs as well that you can see in the picture. And I had it in the cupboard for a long time, and then my father-in-law, maybe 20 years ago, I told him about it, and he said, can I take it? And he took it to the New South Wales Museum in Sydney, and he spoke to the curator of Aboriginal Arts and showed it to him. And the fellow said, this is a very important piece, and he told him the story of how I got it, and he was amazed. He goes, that's really quite significant. And he mounted it correctly on this metal frame that they mount them on that clips onto it so it doesn't damage it, and it's adjustable. So it's got these screws at the back, and when the painting changes shape, you can adjust it.
Okay.
And he said, "Oh, this is a valuable piece." And then in 2000, I was doing a 2-week hike through Kakadu. Just something else I did. And I stopped at a gift shop in Kakadu, and there was a postcard, and it looked like exactly the same painting as mine, picture on the postcard. So I bought it, and it had the painter's name on the back, and this was similar to mine but didn't have the spear, but it was the same because they do the same painting, but mine had the spear going horizontally down, vertically down. This didn't have the spear, and it was in the Victoria Museum, the National Museum of Victoria, on display in there.
So it is very important.
So I went, I better. So now it's on the wall.
Take it out of the cupboard.
I'll take it out of the cupboard, and I've had it on the wall in the lounge room ever since, and I'm quite proud of it. But so that was a little bit of a psychological win for him. Yeah, and then I discovered that he was a Gulka Man. So the Gulka Man is the tribal policeman, and the name that he had, Luma Luma, sort of means, that's what it sort of means, like tribal policeman. That's why I called him Luma Luma. That's not his name, but that's what you would call him, Luma Luma, which is like a Gulka Man, which is different name, but the same principles of enforcing the tribal laws.
Wow. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, scary man.
You're not scared by too many people.
No, not too many.
He was one of them?
One, I respect. Yeah, one, you would have to respect him because there was no fear. He showed no fear. And a lot of people, you get a bit fearful of police and, whatnot. No fear of whatsoever of consequences of what would happen. So, like, not that I did, but if you point a gun at him, he would just go, "Shoot me, I don't care." He would just go, "I don't care." Okay. That sort of confidence that he had. And everyone read it in him too.
Okay.
There's no one challenged him. No one. He could do whatever. He went where he wanted, did what he wanted. Everyone sort of knew, step back.
Yeah, right, keep away.
Keep away.
Let him do his thing.
Yeah, that's it. Keep away, let him do his own thing. His poor wife, and there's not much I could do about that. That's tribal business. Yeah, but anyway, that's life.
So one question with the painting, and you said yours had a spear on it. Any idea what that meant?
No, it didn't. It didn't get explained to me in there. I didn't get an explanation. It was presented to me. I was supposed to have known, because a lot of times, look, the Aboriginal people are very polite in that you don't tell someone they're wrong. I had this all the time, and I think I may have mentioned it before, maybe not, maybe it's in the book and that's what made me think of it. Like, I'll say to them, "Oh, such and such," and they'll go, "Might be." They wouldn't say no. Here we'd go, "No, you're wrong." Especially my wife, she'll say, "No, you're wrong," or whatever. People like to tell you, "No, you're wrong." They never say that because that's impolite, but we do it a lot. So if he said "might be," I'd know I was wrong, but he was being polite.
Okay.
I'd say to him, "No way, Yungul or Balanda, black or white?" And he'd say, "Might be." Like not, and I go, "That Balanda, might be." It means
no,
it's not. But I'm not. I'm too polite to tell you you're an idiot.
You could be right.
It could be. So he just go, "Might be," and I go, "Did he go this way?" "Might be." No, he went the other way. All right.
Okay.
So it was a polite way of saying it. So I learnt that very, very early in the piece. And they would come to me, they Rockiwawa Nali, Nali. Nali is tobacco. I'd say, "Yucca Nali." I haven't got, because I didn't smoke. I wouldn't say, "No, you can't have any." Or I just say, "Yucca," and sort of pat myself down. And they were happy. Or they go, "Rocky, $1, give me $1." Because they treated like I was part of the community. And you're expected, if you had it, to give it to them. So I'd go, "Yucca, $1. Just, haven't got $1. Otherwise you could have it."
Yeah, okay.
And then I'd tell this to white fellas when I was down here, and they'd say, well, what if he asked for, his missus? Or I said, you don't ask for things that it's impolite to ask for.
Okay.
You don't embarrass yourself. Like if you've got a brand new car, I go, can I drive your car? Like, you're going, the guy doesn't want to say no, to be impolite, but he's going, no, it's brand new. I don't want you driving it, but it's impolite of you to ask. If he goes, you want to drive my new car? You go, oh, yeah, okay, thank you. But if you go up and ask, you don't ask for his wife, his spares, his equipment, but anything else. Oh, use your car, you got tobacco, you got money, you got alcohol. Give me. If you've got 1 dozen white cans, they go, give me a white can. Or if they've got a carton, they give me 1 dozen white cans. He would just probably hand it over because it's not a big deal. And then the next time you'll give it to me. But you just don't go asking for things that's impolite to ask for.
Yeah, so it's just...
But we don't understand that.
Well, I guess we kind of do in a way, like...
I don't know.
Not in that way, but in a different way, like...
Oh, yeah, we do. We tend to ask...
I might say, oh, can you shout me a cup of coffee?
Oh, yeah, that's... Yeah,
but I'm not going to say, can you give me a car?
Would you say...
Like,
no, but you would say,
sort of...
but it's not impolite. Just go, give me a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And in their culture, you go, yeah, no worries.
Yeah, so it's kind... I can't
Yeah,
understand
but
how
you would ask for things, but, they just go, give it to me, and they go, yeah, if it's mine to give you, I will.
Yeah. But also it is in a different way.
Yeah, they just get handed over.
We're used to.
If you've got you just hand it gnarly. Yeah, here's gnarly. Get $1. Yeah, and I go, oh yeah, I've got $1. I give them $1.
Yeah.
I probably didn't have $1 most days. That's why I love the $1 and $2 notes.
Oh yeah.
Because I could hand them out. The $2 notes. And no, we didn't have a lot of money, but especially when I was in Alice Springs, $2 would get you a lot of information. I could get who stole a car for $2. If somebody would tell me who stole a car for $2, I'd go and see Freddie Fly at the tip. That was my informant there. Give him $2. He'd tell me who stole the car.
Oh.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah. I don't know if you're allowed
Love
to
the $1 notes and the $2 notes. What? And I claim it on tax. Informants' money.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we pay informants. I claimed it.
Oh, yeah.
I claimed informants' money each year. You're quite entitled to.
Yeah.
Keep a record, put it in my notebook. Paid so-and-so, paid Freddie Fly, $2, $5 or something. Didn't have a lot of money. When you're in the detectives, you did it all the time. You paid for informants and you tried to claim it back, or you got it back on tax. Claim it tax. The tax man would give you some of it back.
Yeah.
Have informant so-and-so. That's the way things got done. Now, then they changed it all, and you had to have your informants registered. Anyway, we got off the thing. There's always something. Always something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was... I don't know. Did you have any other experiences?
No, not with Gulka Man or Kadachi Man. In the centre, I didn't run. When I didn't run into any down there. It was a bit different. I ran into some scary people down there, but no one who... It changed a lot. Out in the bush probably didn't, because I worked a lot around town and out at Santa Teresa Mission, but out at some of the other outstations was probably more prevalent, but was quite modernised by then. This is 1981, still a fair few years ago.
So how long were you in Darwin?
I was only in Darwin for a couple of months.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then I was in Nullarbor.
Nullarbor, but how long were you in Nullarbor?
Nearly 3 years.
Yeah, okay.
And then I went to Alice Springs for a couple of months before I came here.
So just a couple of months.
Yeah, I got myself transferred there because it was closer to Sydney when I was coming to the New South Wales Police. Because it's going to be too expensive to get moved from Nullarbor. I had to pay it my own way.
Oh, okay.
So there's a story in that too, how I got there, just quickly.
Yeah.
I wanted to get to Alice Springs, and I knew if I just put in for a transfer, I probably wouldn't get it. So I went out on day shift, and I went to a constable there that I knew was a pipeline to the boss. I knew he was a gossip.
Oh, yeah.
So I went and said to him, I said, look, just keep this to yourself. And he goes, yes. I said, I think I'm being transferred to Alice Springs. He goes, what? I said, yeah, I've heard a whisper, because everything was a whisper. And he went, oh, all right. About an hour later, the boss calls me in the office. He goes, I heard you're going to Alice Springs. I went, what? I said, really? He goes, well, did you want to go? I said, well, I haven't thought about it. I went, let me speak to my wife. So I rang her up and said, yeah, she'd like to go to Alice Springs. So the transfer went through. I was there. Put my itinerary in. I was in Alice Springs.
You used a bit of your own psychology
there. Reverse, yeah. And then because from Alice Springs, when I resigned, because I hadn't told them I was resigning, I didn't want to, rock the boat. I could get on the GAN, put my vehicle on the GAN. The GAN went from Alice Springs. The GAN train went from Alice Springs down to Port Augusta, and I could get off there, get my Grace Brothers could move my stuff, what bit of goods I had, and move to Canberra. I went to Canberra to start with, yeah, and just drive across.
So from Alice Springs, it was easier to get to Adelaide.
Yeah, Adelaide.
And
otherwise,
from there,
because at Gove, I would have to put everything on the barge, have to put the car on the barge, go to Darwin, get the car transported or drive from Darwin to,
But how did you get everything from Nhulunbuy to Alice Springs in the first place?
The department moved it for me.
Okay.
So they paid for it.
Oh, because it's within
it was a transfer.
State. I get you.
Because it was a police transfer. They paid because I tricked them.
Yes.
I tricked them.
You did. It worked
and they paid for the transfer of my stuff from Nhulunbuy to Alice Springs, and then a few months later I just went, oh, by the way, I'm resigning.
Okay.
And
so from there, it was easy for you to get yourself to Adelaide.
Yeah, easy.
And from Adelaide, it's like a
just
major...
drive. Yeah, just all I had to do was drive 14 hours to Canberra.
Okay. Oh, you drove from there?
Yeah, just drove. You get on the GAN, they drive your car on the GAN, the train. You get off at Port Augusta, they drive it off, and you get in it and you drive. It's easy.
Okay.
Get the overnighter, sleep, a cabin or whatever. It was pretty easy.
So
Simple.
you were back to...
I was back to Canberra. I made that the base because I had to find accommodation.
Okay.
That was another story.
We'll get into that, I'm sure,
I had a couple of weeks.
Future episodes.
Yeah, future. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Roger.
And are you going to just...
Yes, so next week...
Are you going to warn
next
people?
Episode.
But before that, are you going to tell people that...
Oh.
That,
what are we telling them?
Well, you were going to tell people that this is my recollection. These are my stories, albeit it's true. These are true stories. But some of the names have been changed because people are either passed away or they're still alive, and I don't want to embarrass them. But they are true stories. Mm-hmm. But I try wherever to protect other people's identities.
Yes, that's true.
That's important. Just in case they don't want to get mentioned, especially if it's something untoward.
Yeah, we'll make sure we put that in our
in future,
in our intro.
Yeah,
so that people know. For sure.
Thank you.
Thanks, Roger. Next week we're going to talk about Archie J. Give us a quick
Archie J. Oh, the escape of Archie J. And the hunt for Archie J. Yes, he's a guy that was at Groote Island, committed an offence. A number of offences, and escaped from there, from Groote Island over to Nhulunbuy, turned up there, and then I arrested him, but he escaped again, and I had to track him down again in the bush.
Oh, okay. So that's what we'll find out more about next episode.
Yeah, the hunt for Archie J.
Okay, I look forward to that one.
Yes, thanks,
Thanks, Roger.
Thanks, Deb.
See you next time.
Jujutna.
We hope you've enjoyed listening to another episode of Tall Tales and True with Roger Mayer. Next week, we're going to talk about the escape, hunt, and arrest of Archie J. We hope you'll tune in again next time. Bye for now. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure you follow, like, and subscribe to the show so you don't miss what's coming next. We'd love it if you could leave us a review. It really helps more than you think. Got a story, question, or something you want us to unpack on the show? Send it through. We read them all. And come hang out with us on social media, Instagram and Facebook. Just search for us and say hi. If you like this episode, share it with your friends, your family, your colleagues, and even your dog. Especially your dog. They've probably heard worse podcasts anyway. See you next time.
This episode is proudly sponsored by Five Islands Pest Solutions, servicing the Illawarra and Shoalhaven. If you've got spiders, cockroaches, rodents, or any other unwanted guests, Five Islands Pest Solutions has you covered. You can find them on Facebook or Instagram, or just search Five Islands Pest Solutions online. Give them a call on 0424 158 828. Because Roger spent years dealing with pests on the streets, now our sponsors deal with the ones in your house.